Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video I'll be showing you guys some Master League battles with the team that I will be trying to get to rank up. This team does include Melmetal, Dialga, and Giratina. We will be getting a 4-1 with this team, so watch to the end. If you guys do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing, dropping a like, and turning notifications on. And with that being said, let's get on with today's video. For the first round, my opponent's first Pokemon is a Mewtwo. Mewtwo is an only Psychic type Pokemon, but he does have access to Shadow Ball and Flamethrower. Flamethrower will be doing a lot of damage because it will be doing super effective damage due to Fire types being super effective against Steel types. Even though Shadow Ball is on only Ghost type charge move, Ghost types will be doing a lot of neutral damage against my Melmetal and will get us to half health. My opponent does throw in a charge move here, and I do know that it will be a Shadow Ball. I do know that every time my Melmetal does throw in his Rock Slide, Mewtwo does get his Shadow Ball charged up. So my Rock Slide does charge up, and right after this, he will be getting his Shadow Ball, and it will definitely faint my Melmetal because we are at half health. And as you guys saw, Shadow Ball did more than half health. So we do have to throw in a shield here. I did try to go for the farm down, but he did as well get another shield. And he did go for a shield bait with Side Strike. Side Strike would have done not very effective damage because Psychic types are not very effective against Metal types. My Rock Slide does charge up, and my opponent will probably not shield this because he is very low, and him getting Shadow Ball would mean nothing against my Melmetal. So my opponent does make a swap out into his second Pokemon, which is Kyogre. Kyogre is an only water type Pokemon. He does have 2 shields left, and I am left with 1. My Rock Slide will be doing a lot of neutral damage against him, and my Thunder Shock is also doing super effective damage against him. But since Thunder Shock is a weak electric type fast move, it is barely doing any. I do decide to make a swap out into my Dialga as a safe swap because he may have a Togekiss in the back. If he does make a swap out into that Togekiss, then my Dialga will be able to throw in an Iron Head. My opponent does make a swap out into his own Dialga, and I do make a swap out into my Giratina. Giratina will be doing... I did make a swap out into Giratina because he will be doing neutral damage with his Dragon Breath and Dragon Claws. But I did want to throw in as much Dragon Claws as possible because Dragon Claw would be doing a lot of neutral damage against him. He is also doing super effective damage with his Dragon Breath. His Dialga is also doing super effective damage with his Dragon Breath because Dragon types are super effective against Dragon types. But once again, since Dialga is a Steel and Dragon type Pokemon, Dragon types are not very effective against Steel types, but super effective against Dragon types. That does cause neutral damage, and my opponent does decide to shield there. My Giratina does go down, and I am going to hope that he is just going to be throwing in a Iron Head because we will be able to survive an Iron Head with only a little bit of HP left. But I will be able to feint that Kyogre. He did actually decide to throw in a Thunder there. It did do a lot of neutral damage, and it did cost us the first round win. Good game to my opponent. For the second round, my opponent's first Pokemon is a Mewtwo once again. Mewtwo is going to be doing not very effective damage with his Psycho Cut as his fast move because Psycho Cut is a fast type Psychic type move. Psychic types are once again not very effective against Metal types, so he is doing barely any damage, but my Thunder Shock is also doing not very effective damage. Once again, as you guys see, after my Melmetal does throw in a Rock Slide, he does get a charge move off. This will be a Shadow Ball. As you guys saw from the first round and this round, every time Melmetal throws in a Rock Slide, one fast move later, he does throw in his charge move, which is that Shadow Ball. So my Rock Slide does charge up once again. This is the second Rock Slide, and he is very low, but he is not low to Thunder Shock him down before he does get a charge move. Instead of shielding here, I did decide to play it or switch it up because for the first round, as you guys saw, I did lose there because I did not have that extra shield. So I do decide to make a swap out into Dialga. Although he did see my first Pokemon, or although he did see my second Pokemon first, that is still okay because I will probably be able to counter it. And as you guys see, he did make a swap out into a Groudon. Groudon will be doing super effective damage due to ground types, doing neutral damage against dragon types, super effective damage against steel types. I do also get a very clean and good swap here because I did count how many charge moves he was, or you guys may tell when your opponent is about to throw any charge move, and then you can make that swap out into your other Pokemon. So I did make a swap out into my Giratina because he will be taking those Earthquake hits and Fire Punch hits with ease, because Earthquake is a ground type charge move. It is pretty strong, but it is only going to be doing neutral damage. He is done by one shield, and he is a Dragon Breath away from my Dialga, so my Dialga will also be able to survive without getting hit with a Fire Punch or an Earthquake. So my opponent does throw in a Fire Punch. It does do not very effective damage. I do decide to throw in the Dragon Claw here. This was my mistake. I did want my Dialga to come in and get that just one attack farm down. That would still do a lot, because it will bring us closer to that Iron Head. My opponent's final Pokemon is that Metagross. Metagross is a Psychic and Steel type Pokemon. My Dragon Breath and Iron Head from my Dialga will be doing not very effective damage, but since Dialga is very strong, he does actually do more Dragon Breath damage than my Giratina, because he is 4,000 CP while my Giratina is only 3,000. Dragon Breath will be doing a lot of damage with his Iron Head and Dragon Breath, so this is winnable, and it does allow us to win the second round. Good game to our opponent. For the third round, my opponent's first Pokemon is a Origin Form Giratina. This Giratina is a Dragon and Shadow type Pokemon, just as the usual Giratinas that you guys may usually see, but he does not have access to Dragon Claw or Dragon Breath. He does have access to Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball, and those moves are very strong. He is actually using Shadow Ball right now, and I do decide not to shield because, as you guys saw from those Mewtwo's, we are able to survive those Shadow Balls, but they are going to be doing a good chunk of health, as you guys see right there. My opponent does also make a swap out into a Snorlax. I do decide to overfarm. I was going to throw in that Rock Slide to pretend that it was a superpower, but I did decide to make a swap out into Dialga. This can go both ways because I do know Snorlax does have access to both Superpower and Earthquake, so I do have to watch out for that. Since he did throw in his shield, it was safe for me to throw in his shield as well. It was actually an Earthquake that definitely would have fainted us, and I would make a swap out into my Melmetal if that did. Because since he does have Lick as his fast move, Lick is a Ghost type fast move. Ghost types are super effective against Ghost types, and because my Giratina is in the back, I cannot swap out into that Giratina. So he is only one Iron Head away from fainting. My opponent did get a really good shield bait on my Dialga. I did think it was going to be another Earthquake, but it only was a Body Slam. My Iron Head will be going through here. I do think he does decide not to shield. I do have 0 shields left, and I will not be able to counter or shield any other charge moves, as you guys know, because I do have 0 left. So my opponent does make a swap out into a Swampert. My Iron Head will be double resisted because Steel types are not very effective against both Water types and Ground types. But because Dialga does have a CP range of more than over 1,000, that Iron Head did do a good amount of damage, and it did allow my Melmetal to come in because, as you guys know, I did have a Rock Slide charged up from his other Pokemon, so that Rock Slide did faint him, and he reveals his final Pokemon, which is that Giratina. Rock Slide does go through here once again. Rock Slide will be doing a lot of neutral damage due to Rock types being neutral against both Dragon types and Ghost types, so he does have 0 shields as well. And my I do have two Pokemon left, one half health and one full health. Both of my Pokemon will also be doing super effective damage against him. He actually may be able to clutch, because if he does get at least 3 Shadow Balls, because he did get a very nice energy farm down on my Melmetal. If he did get at least like 3 to 4 Shadow Balls, he would have won this. It was possible because Shadow Ball plus Shadow Claw makes your charge move charge up very fast. As you guys saw right there, Shadow Ball did get us already up to half health for my Giratina, but I do still have that Dialga in the back, and as you guys know, Ghost types will be doing neutral damage against him, and because of that, it does allow us to win the 4th round. Good game to our opponent. For the 5th and final round, my opponent's first Pokemon is a Landorus. I haven't seen him in the Master League yet, but Landorus is a ground and electric type Pokemon. My Thunder Shock from my Melmetal will be doing not super effective damage, but not very effective damage actually, because the Thunder Shock will be doing not very effective damage against that ground type, but super effective damage against that flying type. But Landorus's main type is actually a ground type. So my Rock Slide will still be doing neutral damage against him, but my Rock Slide is going to be doing neutral damage against him because Rock types are super effective against flying types, and he is actually throwing in Rock Slides on me as well. His Mud Slap or Mud Shot with his fast moves are doing super effective damage against us due to ground types being super effective against steel types once again. So my Rock Slide is doing more neutral damage against him because we are going to be doing neutral damage, while his Rock Slide is going to be doing not very effective damage against us because Rock types are once again not very effective against steel types. So he does actually get the first feint because of his fast move, although it is doing barely any noticeable damage. It is actually doing damage still, and it does equal to the damage that my Melmetal is doing with his Rock Slide. So my opponent doesn't make a swap out into a Weavile, which is still okay. As you guys know, Weavile does have access to Dark and Ice type moves. Both types do counter. Both types do fully counter my Pokemon because Ice types are super effective against Dragon types, and Dark types are super effective against Ghost types. So we do have a shield left. We do have 2 shields left because we did not shield anything from that Landorus. We are down by 1 shield, but my opponent does have that advantage. But my Giratina is actually doing a lot of damage, and we are able to go for the farm down on his Weavile. That is very good. And my opponent's final Pokemon is a Heatran. This would have been bad once again because Heatran is a fire and steel type Pokemon. He will be doing my Dragon type and steel type my Dragon type moves, and my steel type moves will be doing not very effective damage because Dragon types are not very effective damage against steel types, and steel types do not very effective damage against both steel and fire types. So he did have 1 shield left, so he did actually throw in a Dragon Claw or shield my Dragon Claw, and my Dragon Claws are doing a lot of damage. I do have 1 shield left, but I did decide not to use it because I do know that we will be able to survive a flamethrower due to fire types being not very effective against dragon types. I did also want to save a shield for my Dialga because fire types would be doing a lot of neutral damage against us due to fire being not very effective against dragon types, but super effective against steel types. So that will be causing neutral damage once again. I do have 1 shield left. We are able to go for the Dragon Breath farm down, I think. And that is very nice because it does allow us to win the 5th round. Good game to our opponent. Alright guys, so that will be the end of today's video. If you guys did enjoy, please consider dropping a like, subscribing, and turning notifications on. It will really help the channel a lot because we are on the road to 100 subscribers. We are very close to ranking up, and we will probably be ranking up next video. So watch that video or go check it out tomorrow. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.